Yo, first of all, this part of the video is spoiler free, so if you haven't played Dispatch yet, don't worry, you're totally safe. I'm only showing B-roll footage from the first 2 episodes, and aside from specifically selected out of context clips, I took off subtitles so you won't know what's going on. Oh, and if I sound a little weird, it's because I'm a little sick at the time of recording, but hey, the grind don't stop. Anyways, this is a review of the game, so let's jump right into it. My name is Andre, and let's talk about Dispatch. With a few caveats, I highly recommend Dispatch. Dispatch is a superhero workplace comedy that absolutely hits the mark on so many levels. It's hilariously vulgar, batshit crazy, and utterly ridiculous at its best, and yet at the same time, it's paced incredibly well, highlighting some down-to-earth relatable moments throughout the game that are somber or sweet depending on the scene. Speaking of narrative, its well-crafted story is definitely the selling point of the game. I often think of Dispatch as the love child between Invincible and The Office, with many Marvel and DC influences sprinkled throughout. I honestly don't remember the last time I laughed this much playing a video game, and I attribute much of the game's success to its witty dialogue that is punchy and as culturally relevant to our reality as it gets. From all the little things, like calling Chase an unk.
Love you too, Unk. Don't fuck this up.
Malevola saying type shit.
Oh, some like Uno Reverso type shit.
And even sneaking in a peekaboo reference.
The type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand.
Pickable, the type of shit I'm on you wouldn't understand.
There are so many real-world allusions that help us get immersed in the superhero version of Los Angeles. To top it all off, its stacked lineup of voice actors, many of whom are from Critical Role, contrasted with some surprisingly great performances by creators like Moist Critical, Jacksepticeye, and Alina Pierce. The acting really brings these characters to life.
She temporarily blinded me!
What you mean temporarily? Bitch, you blind forever.
Now, while I didn't mind it at all, I do have to warn some of you that there isn't much of a game to play, despite it being a video game. It's part visual novel, part management simulator with some basic puzzle solving, but other than that, a majority of your experience will just be you watching a well-produced show while periodically pressing one of 3 buttons to make a decision. Surprisingly though, my main criticism for Dispatch has to be its lack of a branching narrative, with many of the choices you make ultimately feeling shallow and superficial, with little deviation to the overall plot, and in my humble opinion, it unfortunately makes the game less replayable. Still, if you're looking for a short, story-driven game with a cast of likable goofballs, then Dispatch may be for you. It's honestly just a good time, no bullshit. I paid full price for the game because I wanted to support the devs, but this is definitely a must-buy if you see a good deal when it goes on sale. Trust me. Alright, let's move on to the full spoiler review and analysis, so if you're still here, I hope you've already played the game. This is your last warning.
Oh, come on. You've stolen things too.
What? You racist motherfucker, I never stole a fucking thing in my entire fucking life.
One of the best things Dispatch has going for it is its focus on workplace culture and how it subverts all of our expectations with all the superhero shit going on. From the cubicles, to the break room, to the conference room, and even the restroom.
Alright, good to meet you, brah.
Likewise.
It evokes a sense of uncanny familiarity to most of us who've worked a day in our lives, especially in an office setting. Dispatch is very self-aware of modern work culture, and the jokes land so well because they largely center around the tedium of people going to work, even in this fictional superhuman society. However, unlike the real world, the game basically says, "F it, we're gonna break every single company rule imaginable that would drive every HR department insane if it were to happen in real life."
He's allowed to go home, right?
Yes, I'm not running a sweatshop.
From the moment Blonde Blazer conveniently saves Robert, and then proceeds to intentionally get him drunk with the ulterior motive of coercing him to join her company, the game is basically one massive HR violation after another. And it's fucking amazing.
Can you handle this HR violation some other place? I got work, yeah?
Imagine it's your first day at work, and your very hot and very attractive boss, who is totally into you by the way, locks you both inside a meeting room and tells you to strip in front of her.
Should I close my eyes, maybe? If that makes you more comfortable.
Well, this might be the fastest HR violation of a new employee in history.
Yeah, I'm just gonna...
Now, is this highly problematic and inappropriate in the workplace, regardless if both parties consent? Absolutely. However, you're forgetting that I, a 25-year-old man, am most definitely the target audience for a game like this, for very obvious reasons. God, I wish that were me.
But first, Rob gotta put on pants.
Aw, what? But then I can't do this.
Yep, right on that.
Stop! Don't touch me there! This is my no-no square!
In other words, Dispatch knows all about our expectations and biases, and even uses the inherent double standards we have in society to make banal procedures like job interviews and onboarding as ridiculous and needlessly sexually charged as it could be. I mean, why not, right? I would argue that it does serve the plot in terms of romantic intrigue, and it makes for some rather interesting character interactions.
That was quite a kiss she laid on you. Gonna have to talk to HR about that.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
I'm joking, Robert. Relax.
At the end of the day, these outlandish scenes aren't meant to represent reality, but instead show a fictional mirror of our society, while also appealing to male fantasies. But hey, for all the girls who played Dispatch, I would love to know what you think about this game as well.
Did you just give me an up-down?
Side note, everyone in this game is running their potty mouth about something, and it's great. Invisigal is always spouting horny shit for some reason, Chase can't stop saying the word fuck, and Flambe's favorite word is bitch, and what can I say? I'm a simple man. To me, cussing makes things way funnier than it should be, and the effect is amplified because they're saying all this shit at work, a place where they shouldn't be cussing at all.
Let me remind you, these calls are fucking recorded for training fucking purposes.
This is the worst.
Keep the fucking line clear before we send your stupid fucking asses back to whatever fucking cell we pulled your stupid fucking asses out of.
What I'm trying to say is, the constant barrage of jokes, puns, one-liners, and the incorporation of memes in this game is pure cinema.
Don't you got some work to do?
Don't you got some dementia to onset?
That one stung a little.
And obviously, comedy is largely subjective, I get that, but there's a reason why this game has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam and is also scoring very well on other platforms. At the end of the day, Dispatch is a comedy, and it most definitely succeeds in embodying that identity.
You ever jerk off in this thing?
Huh? You low, Vizzy.
I mean, obviously you have, right? I should really be asking how often.
Hey, come on. I gotta work on this.
Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. What's it to you?
Just want to know why the buttons are sticky.
What the fuck?
Now, despite being marketed as a narrative-driven game, I would argue that its plot actually comes second to its comedic aspects. At first glance, Dispatch has a pretty run-of-the-mill superhero revenge story. The game explores themes of redemption and trust. It talks about how we shouldn't judge others so quickly and instead believe the best in people, not assume the worst. And finally, it challenges the notion of a predetermined destiny versus taking ownership and having agency over our own lives. Which are all fine and dandy. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with the narrative, and it does share some rather important messages. Unfortunately though, it's just painfully plain to me, and I usually don't like these kinds of superhero stories. The fast-paced humor absolutely carries the narrative for me, and I wouldn't like this game so much if it weren't so good. Jokes aside though, literally. Another reason Dispatch does a great job in making us players so invested in its narrative lies in its romance options. I wouldn't categorize Dispatch as a dating sim, but we can't deny how central romance is to the overall story of the game. As for options, there are only two routes available: Blazer and Invisigal. In my very first playthrough, as soon as I saw Blazer, appear on my screen, I knew who I was going to romance, and I stood on business.
Hi, I'm Blonde Blazer. I work over at Superhero Dispatch Network.
I actually really like Robert and Blazer's dynamic. Even though Blazer presents herself as this flawless, lawful good superhero, she actually isn't boring and is way more complex of a character than first meets the eye.
Now that's a fucking superhero.
First, she does a great job matching Robert's energy, bantering with him and cracking jokes herself, and you get the sense that she really likes Robert.
Oh yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, you look like some kind of mime DJ. Let me see it. I'll help you.
Based on context clues from her words, mannerisms, and even physical touch, it's reasonable to assume that Blazer liked Robert even before they met.
What's that arm squeeze about?
You want one? Here.
Fuck off.
You'd basically have to be an oblivious harem protagonist to not notice how hard Blazer's rizzing up Robert since episode 1. And it's absolutely wild because we later find out that after several instances of flirting with Robert, she was still with Phenomenon.
Robert, this is my boyfriend, Phenomenon.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
For all of you not following what I'm trying to say, she was emotionally cheating on her then boyfriend, now ex, which is no bueno. Yeah, Phenomenon's an alien and their relationship was already on the rocks, whatever, but it's still cheating and you can't convince me otherwise. My headcanon is that Blazer, or Mandy when we find out that she doesn't actually have superpowers herself, relates to Robert very much, having to rely on her amulet to give her powers. It's this shared secret, shared shame and insecurity that compelled her to reach out to Robert in the first place because if anyone could seek to understand her, it's Robert.
Okay, maybe if I wasn't called Blonde Blazer, I wouldn't be so self-conscious about it. People have expectations, and they never meet me first. It's always the superhero. It's hard to live up to.
She wanted him to join STN, and she conveniently used his connection with Trackstar as a cover to recruit him. But hey, it's just a theory.
A game theory!
Now, the reason I'm so fixated about this is because I want to show that Blazer's more complicated of a character than most people probably think, and I argue that she has some serious flaws that she's always trying to suppress to keep up appearances as Blonde Blazer, this hero that everyone in the company looks up to. Regardless of everything I said, despite her morally questionable decisions and unprofessional conduct at work, like she's literally dating an employee she hired, I can't think of a better example of abusive power dynamics than this. I still ship her and Robert. I know, I mean, they're just so cute and perfect together.
Have a good shift.
Bro, you're so lucky.
I know.
I also played the game a second time, partly to see the outcomes of different decisions, but mainly to romance Invisigal.
You might like me loud sometime.
Was that about sex?
It's clear that she's a pivotal character in this patch, and the way you treat her will determine whether or not she continues on the path of redemption, or if she falls back into a life of crime. This tragic figure who can't fight against her predestined fate to be a villain.
I have fucking villain powers. I can turn invisible and skulk in the shadows. My powers let me steal shit and watch famous people fuck. Being a villain is my fate. It's in the fucking stars.
And while I'm glad I did see her route, and I thought their little movie date was cute, ultimately it just didn't sit right with me. Throughout the game, Robert and Invisigal have this mentor-mentee relationship that's also present if you're with Blazer, and honestly, I preferred keeping it that way. Again, it's that double standard of, I'm okay with dating my boss, but dating someone working under me, off limits. But hey, maybe that's just me. Nevertheless, I thought that Invisigal was a great character, and a special shout out to Laura Bailey for always killing it in everything she's in. She's awesome as Invisigal.
They're right. I don't deserve anyone's forgiveness, anyone's help, anyone's love. Because I can never repay it. Nothing I do will ever make up for what I've already done to you.
Now, I wouldn't have come to this conclusion if I didn't play through the game a second time, but like I said in the beginning of this video regarding player choices, this patch leaves more to be desired. For a game where your choices matter, there isn't much variety in the consequences of said choices throughout the game, and it made me realize that this game doesn't have much replay value. Now, there are some monumental choices you have to make that do change the game, but I argue not by much. It's kind of like slapping on a different colored paint. Sure, it looks different depending on what color you use, but the change is only surface level. Whether it's being forced to cut Sonar or Coop, or choosing between Waterboy and Phenomenon as a replacement, these decisions feel so mechanically interchangeable that they feel more like an aesthetic change instead of making decisions that actually impact the course of the story. And that's because these characters, despite how likable and funny they are, have little to no impact in the overarching plot. The lack of depth in the choices is because no matter what happens, the game has a predetermined ending with some slight variations, but that's pretty much it.
What the fuck is this, Robert?
You said you wanted the Astropulse. I gave it to you.
There isn't much freedom on what kind of route you want the story to go in because you're being railroaded by the devs, which is both good and bad, I guess. It's good because, like I mentioned earlier, the story of the game is solid and very compelling in itself, and I'm not saying otherwise. But it's also bad because no matter the choices I make, even if I intentionally take the less traveled path, my playthrough would still look very similar to pretty much everyone else's. And to me, that's a disappointment, especially coming from the devs who made some bangers like the Telltale Walking Dead series, The Wolf Among Us, and my personal favorite, Tales from the Borderlands. Ultimately, this patch is a fairly linear choose-your-own-adventure, with most of the choices you do get to make throughout the game generally boiling down to which dick joke you want Robert to make at any given time, which, to be fair, as a comedy, it serves its purpose well.
Those long ones with the cream inside.
Oh, you like a dick donut?
No. They're called...
You love big, long, cream-filled dick donuts. I got it, dude. You like your dick donuts up in your throat, in your ass, both.
Yep, you got me. I love gobbling on hot, sloppy donuts. Love them from my mouth to my butt.
No, don't like that.
But personally, I wish there was more depth and meaning behind the choices that you do get to make. In the end, this patch is a great game. It's funny as fuck, but it's not the kind of game that'll stick with you for a long time. That being said, am I excited for the possibility of a Season 2? Of course I am, and I'll probably play it whenever it comes out, if it comes out. And I hope by then that a lot of these issues that I have with the game right now are addressed and improved upon. But for now, I'll give this patch a solid 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the near future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Bitch, my name's Robert, such a bitch whose name is Robert. I'm a bitch, I'm a bitch. I'm such a fucking bitch. I have no hopes, I have no dreams, and a tiny little dream.